All right, deep divers, get ready for a splash of cosmic dread because today we're talking about an asteroid that's got a slight crush on Earth.
Oh,
And by crush, I mean a potentially catastrophic collision.
interesting.
So we're diving into this CBS News article all about Asteroid 2024 YR4.
Huh.
And let me tell you, it's a real page-turner.
Yeah.
This asteroid has earned the nickname City Killer, which sounds about as comforting as a hug from a porcupine.
Right.
So help us out here.
Yeah.
What's the real deal with this City Killer label? Should we be prepping our astronaut applications, or is it more nuanced than that?
Well, the term city killer does sound dramatic, but it's a way to quickly convey the potential scale of damage.
Okay.
If this asteroid were to impact a populated area, the devastation would be immense.
Right.
But localized.
Okay.
Thankfully, we're not talking about a planet-sterilizing event like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Okay, so maybe hold off on building that underground bunker.
Wait.
For now.
For now.
But seriously, this article talks about 2024 YR4 being somewhere between 130 and 295 feet wide.
Yeah.
They even helpfully compare it to a football field.
Oh, wow.
Why is knowing the exact size such a big deal?
Well, imagine tossing a pebble into a pond
Okay.
versus chucking a bowling ball.
Right.
The size of the object directly relates to the energy released upon impact.
Makes sense.
In asteroid terms, a 40-meter chunk of rock is going to have a very different effect than a 90-meter one.
Okay.
That's why scientists are using the James Webb Space Telescope to get a more precise measurement.
The James Webb, that's like the ultimate cosmic magnifying glass, right?
That's a great way to put it.
But how does it actually help with sizing up this space rock?
It's all about seeing beyond the surface, literally.
Okay.
Most telescopes rely on reflected light.
Yeah.
But the James Webb can detect infrared radiation, basically the heat the asteroid gives off.
Oh, interesting.
This gives us a much more accurate picture of its size and composition.
Yeah. So it's like using a thermal camera to see how toasty this asteroid is.
Yeah.
And from that, they can figure out how big it really is.
Exactly.
Clever.
Yeah, they're planning observations in March and May of this year.
Okay.
Then more in 2028 when 2024 YR4 swings back into view.
Wow.
Analyzing this data will take time, but it'll give us a much clearer picture of what we're dealing with.
So a bit of a waiting game.
Yeah.
But speaking of waiting, what about the odds of this thing actually making a date with Earth? The article mentioned some initial estimates from the European Space Agency and NASA.
Right.
But now everyone seems to be saying those were a bit dramatic.
Yeah.
What's the latest on the impact probability?
You're right, those initial estimates were likely inflated.
Okay.
The latest data suggests the odds are lower,
Okay.
though still worth keeping an eye on.
All right.
We're talking about a 2% chance of impact.
2%.
How that may sound small.
Yeah.
It's enough to put 2024 YR4 at level 3 on the Torino Impact Hazard Scale.
Level 3. That sounds pretty serious.
Yeah.
What does that even mean on the cosmic catastrophe scale?
The Torino scale helps scientists and the public understand the potential danger of near-Earth objects.
Okay.
It ranges from 0, meaning absolutely no risk,
Got it.
to 10, which signifies a certain collision with global consequences.
Well, wow.
Level 3 means it's a close encounter that warrants attention and further study.
Okay, so it's not duck and cover time yet.
Right.
But definitely worth keeping an eye on.
For sure.
Speaking of keeping an eye on things, this article helpfully provides a list of potential impact zones.
Oh, really?
Let's see. The Eastern Pacific Ocean,
Okay.
Northern South America,
Uh-huh.
the Atlantic Ocean,
All right.
Africa,
Yeah.
the Arabian Sea, and South Asia.
Wow.
That's a lot of options.
It's true, the potential impact zone is quite large at this point.
Yeah.
However, with further observations and more refined trajectory calculations, scientists expect to narrow down the possible locations significantly.
So for now, it's less pin the tail on the donkey and more throw a dart at a map of Earth.
Right. A slightly unnerving game of darts, indeed.
Yeah.
But it's crucial to remember that even if 2024 YR4 does hit,
Yeah.
the impact would be localized,
Okay.
or not a global extinction event.
Got it.
So that's a bit of good news, at least.
All right, deep divers, that wraps up part 1 of our deep dive into the potentially planet-puckering asteroid 2024 YR4.
Great.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dive deeper into what a localized impact actually means
Okay.
and explore the fascinating and slightly terrifying world of planetary defense strategies.
Sounds good.
Buckle up.
I will. Welcome back, deep divers. Before we went subsurface, we were talking about 2024 YR4 and its not-so-subtle potential to crash the global party in 2032.
Yeah.
While it wouldn't be a dinosaur extinction-level event,
Right.
a localized impact still sounds pretty intense.
It does. It's kind of like saying, don't worry, the meteor shower is only going to hit your backyard.
Yeah.
So let's get granular. What does localized damage from an asteroid of this size actually look like? Asking for a friend who may or may not be currently shopping for hard hats.
I understand the concern. The good news is scientists are constantly refining their models to understand the potential consequences.
Okay.
A lot depends on factors like the asteroid's composition, angle of entry, and whether it explodes in the air or slams into the surface.
Okay, so it's not as simple as asteroid equals big boom.
Yeah.
What are the different scenarios we're talking about here?
Imagine a smaller asteroid,
Okay.
one that mostly breaks apart high in the atmosphere.
Okay.
It'd be like a cosmic fireworks show, creating a massive airburst with shockwaves radiating outward.
Okay.
Those shockwaves could cause damage over a wide area,
Yeah.
but the physical impact would be less concentrated.
Okay, so not quite backyard level damage.
Right.
But still a pretty big oops for whatever region is underneath that sky show.
Exactly.
What about the bigger, bolder asteroids that make it through the atmosphere?
Now, those are the ones that leave a lasting impression.
Oh, literally.
Literally. We're talking about impact craters miles wide.
Wow.
Earthquakes that would make tectonic plates blush.
Oh, my goodness.
Tsunamis making a splash on a global scale, and widespread fires adding to the whole apocalyptic chic vibe.
Okay, that's definitely getting into maybe I should invest in some canned goods territory.
Right.
But knowing scientists, they're not just sitting around twiddling their telescopes while this space rock barrels towards us, right?
Yeah.
What kind of countermeasures are being explored to, maybe convince 2024 YR4 to take its talents elsewhere?
Absolutely. Scientists are working on some truly ingenious and, dare I say, science fiction-sounding solutions.
Okay.
One strategy involves a kinetic impactor.
Kinetic impactor. Sounds intense. Does that involve Bruce Willis?
Not quite.
Okay.
A kinetic impactor is basically a high-tech battering ram. We're talking about launching a spacecraft to intercept the asteroid and slam into it at high speed, hoping to nudge it off course.
Yeah.
Just enough to miss Earth.
So like a cosmic game of billiards?
Exactly.
But with slightly higher stakes.
It's all about precise calculations and timing.
Right.
You need to hit the asteroid just right to ensure you're sending it in the right direction. Otherwise, you might just end up making the problem worse.
Okay, noted. Do not play cosmic billiards with asteroids unless you've done the math.
Definitely not.
But what if a gentle nudge isn't enough? What if we need to go full Michael Bay on this thing?
Well, there's always the nuclear option.
Oh.
Detonating a nuclear device near the asteroid could vaporize part of its surface, creating thrust and altering its course.
What?
That's a controversial approach.
Yeah, I'll bet.
But it's a tool in the planetary defense toolbox.
Okay, so we've got the nudge it approach and the nuke it approach.
Yeah.
Any other options that fall somewhere in between on the cosmic intervention scale?
There's one more strategy that's quite elegant in its simplicity. The gravity tractor.
A gravity tractor. It sounds like something out of Star Trek.
Right.
But how do you create enough gravity with a spacecraft to move an asteroid?
It's not about brute force, but rather a slow and steady application of gravitational influence. It's like parking a really heavy truck next to a shopping cart. Eventually, the cart will start to drift toward the truck.
Got it.
With enough time, even a small gravitational pull can make a big difference in an asteroid's trajectory.
All right, so we've got our kinetic impactors, our nuclear last resorts, and our patient gravity tractors.
Yep.
But let's say, for the sake of argument, that 2024 YR4 decides it really wants to come visit, and none of these strategies work out.
Right.
What can regular folks like us do to prepare? Aside from, mastering the art of saying goodbye in 6 different languages, of course.
Panic is never a productive strategy.
Okay.
The most important thing is to stay informed. Pay attention to updates from NASA and other space agencies.
Makes sense.
They'll be the best source of information on the asteroid's trajectory and any potential risks.
Okay.
Think of it like checking the weather forecast, but for incoming space rocks instead of rain clouds.
Got it. Swap the weather app for the asteroid tracker.
Yeah.
Check. What else?
It's always a good idea to have an emergency plan in place, just like you would for any other natural disaster.
Right.
Know your evacuation routes. Have a go bag ready with essential supplies.
Okay.
And make sure your family knows what to do in case of an emergency.
Solid advice, and honestly, probably good practice even if we weren't potentially facing an asteroid impact. So while we're getting our emergency kits in order, what's the big takeaway for our listeners? What should they be pondering as we gear up for part 3 of this deep dive?
I think the main message here is, don't let the asteroid steal your joy. While this situation is certainly worth paying attention to, remember that we're constantly learning and developing new technologies.
That's true.
Humanity is resourceful and we've faced challenges before.
Well said. So keep your eyes on the skies, but don't forget to keep your feet on the ground. We'll be right back for part 3, where we'll explore the cultural ripples of this asteroid news and what it reveals about our relationship with the vastness of space. Welcome back, asteroid aficionados. So far, we've tackled the science, the survival strategies. But there's another layer to this whole 2024 YR4 situation that's worth exploring. It's got me thinking about how we as humans react to the idea of a giant space rock potentially messing up our planet. It's kind of fascinating.
It is fascinating. News like this tends to stir up a mix of emotions. Fear, curiosity, and even a dash of dark humor.
Oh, definitely dark humor. My social media feeds have been a goldmine of asteroid memes lately. Everything from 2024 YR4, nature's reset button, to finally an excuse to eat all the ice cream in the freezer. It's like we're collectively processing this anxiety through jokes.
Humor is a powerful coping mechanism. It helps us distance ourselves from overwhelming situations. And find a sense of control even when facing the seemingly uncontrollable.
It's like, well, if the world might end, at least I can get a few laughs out of it.
Exactly.
But beyond the memes, this whole situation has sparked some pretty deep conversations. I've seen people talking about their priorities, their hopes, their fears. It's like this asteroid has become a cosmic mirror reflecting back our own humanity.
I think you've hit on something profound. This awareness of our vulnerability, of our shared fate as inhabitants of this planet, can be a powerful catalyst for introspection and connection.
It's like suddenly all those little daily annoyances just melt away. Who cares about traffic when there might be a planet-altering asteroid on the horizon?
Exactly. It puts things into perspective. We're reminded that life is precious. Time is fleeting. And we need to make the most of every moment.
It's also sparked a lot of curiosity about space itself.
People
are asking questions about asteroids, planetary defense, the vastness of the universe. It's like this cosmic event has reignited our sense of wonder.
Absolutely. And that curiosity can be a powerful driver for scientific exploration and discovery. Who knows, maybe this event will inspire the next generation of astronomers, engineers, and astronauts.
Maybe we'll even see some real-life Bruce Willises stepping up to save the day. But jokes aside, what do you think is the biggest takeaway for our listeners? What should we be carrying with us beyond the information and the what-ifs?
I think the most important message is this. Don't let fear paralyze you. Embrace curiosity, connect with others, and appreciate the beauty and fragility of our planet.
Beautifully said. So to our deep divers out there, keep those telescopes pointed at the sky. Keep those brains engaged in critical thinking, and keep those hearts open to the wonders and challenges of this incredible universe we call home.
And remember, even if an asteroid does come knocking, we humans are a resilient bunch. We'll find a way to make lemonade out of cosmic lemons.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay awesome.